Hi, Leo. My beautiful cat has decided to come and join me just as I'm doing your reading. I laid the cards all out, and this is the first time I've ever been given a lion as an image for you. So when Lulu showed up too, I decided I'm just going to continue and let her be part of the energy. So here's what I saw. I saw a big lion, and it was a male lion, and he had no teeth, and he had no claws, and he roared. And it didn't matter that he didn't have teeth, and it didn't matter that he didn't have claws. He still had the power inside of him, and it was always the power inside of him that was the source of his ability to move forward and protect and live his life and protect his pride. But what I'm seeing as I was laying the cards out that are now underneath Lulu, what I really got to see in this is that you have had sometimes the ability, or the tendency, I should say, to state your boundaries in such a way so that they were barriers. It's almost as though you didn't realize you didn't need to have this rough, tough exterior, but that there was a part of you that was almost like this little kid that had to defend themselves against the world. And this grew into, with this beautiful fire that the Leo has, an almost male energy, imbalanced to the male side, which sometimes prevented you from being able to forgive when you needed to forgive, because not forgiving was a statement of strength, and forgiving seemed like a statement of weakness, like you would be taken advantage of, or that you had been taken advantage of, and so that stance had to be there. Those were your teeth and your claws, but you didn't need them. Because the reality is the female lion is every bit as strong. The female lion, the tender heart, they rip apart animals, but they do it lovingly. They do it for their kids. That strength, that female strength in you, Leo, now is coming up. And what it means is that you can now communicate your feelings, your true feelings, not just your anger or your protective statements. It means that now you can choose to say to people, that really hurt, and I don't like it. It doesn't have to be, you have hurt me, and therefore I will never have anything to do with you again. It doesn't have to be, you were horrible. It can be, that really upset me, can we talk about it? And maybe you don't want to talk about it. Maybe you don't. But you also can still choose not to go into that rigid mode, because that rigid mode doesn't actually help you. That rigid mode, just because I love her face, that rigid mode is not good for your energy. It's not good for your health. It creates rigidity in your body. So you're being asked to really have some faith in the fact that there is a guiding force that is bigger than your ego, that is stronger than your ego, that allows you to be vulnerable and to be honest and to talk about your feelings when you need to. You Leos are, here sweetheart, not on the cards, over here. You sweetheart are, I'm sorry, that was the cat, but sweethearts, you are sweethearts. You have very tender hearts. It's just that they're very often guarded with a very, very strong male energy. And when it's done out of a sense of fear or a sense of super protectiveness, it can come off just as rigid. When it is balanced and can communicate honestly and be in touch with all of the emotions underneath that guarded self, my gosh, you are powerful beings for love. You are really in this period of change, as we're all going through this change and through this elevation of our frequencies. We're all being given the choice and the opportunity to decide whether or not we want to look at those things in our ego that have been defense mechanisms and protectors and really ego-based, and ego not in a prideful way necessarily, but when anybody is really, really entrenched in their ego, in their personality, in a way where they are not able to look at emotions in a really mindful way, in a really self-aware way, it can really create a kind of blindness to the roles other people are playing in our lives and what we're doing in our lives. It can really cause us to continue to love only in this way as opposed to in this way. And what you're really being shown is you have great power, but your power is not coming just from what your mind does, which is where your ego is centered. This is not just about being prideful and standing for yourself like this. It's standing for yourself and being able to negotiate boundaries rather than fearfully just drawing the line on them. So what I get here with this too is, and when I was doing this reading before Lulu jumped up on the desk, there was literally an orb of light that sparked right over the forgiveness card. I have never had that in a reading before. So I'm going to read this to you because I think forgiveness is key here for you. I don't know who you need to forgive or if you need to be forgiven, but something's going on with this. Forgiveness. Hold no grudges. Whatever blame you wish to project onto others or yourself, and whatever resentment seems justified, give it up. Let everyone, including you, be blameless. Name the offense, and then decide that it's not worth it. For today, accept that you might not be right in your perception. Even if you think you're right, allow for the possibility that you're not, and choose forgiveness. So what I see with that card, yes, it's about forgiveness, but what it's also doing is it's saying, Leo, don't assume that just because you're saying this or thinking this, or that that is your first feeling, that that is all there is. There is more going on than just you. Perhaps there are things you don't know. Perhaps you are taking things personally because you're making assumptions. And you could question beyond that if you're not in that defended stance, right? Leo, you are some of my favorite people, and you can be some of the most entrenched, I love you, stubborn people. That doesn't change the fact that you also are genuinely and generally some of the most caring people that I know. So what I would say is this, please, if you need to say you're sorry to somebody, or if you need to hear you're sorry from somebody, let that happen. Be genuine, be genuine with your vulnerability. Because even asking for an apology from somebody is a vulnerability because it's admitting that you were hurt. So, Leo, I felt I needed to do this tonight. I wasn't going to do another one, but I felt like I really needed to do this tonight. And then look at that. The cat on the desk in the middle of the cards. Never had that happen before. Seriously. So, that's it for me, my loves, my friends, my dear people who are Leos. So many of them in my life. Check in with your hearts and see if they're defended and see if you want to let some of those walls down. Because remember, it's not for other people that you do it. It's for your own well-being, okay? It's really for your own well-being. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face, okay? Take care.